I know Michael Goldberg, I think, gave Greg Briscoe a high five when you mentioned Coach Landry as your coach that you admire the most. So I know Michael has a question. Michael, fire away.
Thanks, Scott. Coach, thanks so much for your time today. So I wanted one of the things that I admire about you, number one, is you don't hide your emotions, which I think is very difficult, or it's hard to do. So I really appreciate when you showed your emotions. You weren't afraid to cry on TV. You weren't afraid to put that out. The other thing I admire about you is you look at the underdogs. So Kurt Warner was the underdog. But my favorite, and I grew up more of a Redskins fan before I moved to Dallas and married a Texas girl to become a Cowboys fan. But probably the greatest underdog, in my opinion, was based on the movie Invincible, Vince Papale. And number one, how accurate was that story? And number two, what did you see in Papale? What did you see in talent, in his talent, to bring him on as someone that hadn't played since high school to come onto the team?
Well, that's a simple one, really. As I said already, we didn't have any draft choices. There was no limit on the number of kids you could bring to training camp. And we had this open tryout. George Allen taught me that concept when I worked for him that year. He used to call it the circus. We're going to have a circus this weekend. And it's amazing, all different sizes and shapes. But at the end of that day, the one guy that kept catching your eye in the agility drills and running with speed was this Italian kid from Philadelphia. So, he would have paid us to sign him. So we gave him the opportunity. And we ended up letting go a special teams receiver, MVP special teams player from the year before in the Eagles to go. And we got him a job in Buffalo and replaced him with Vince Papale because Vince lived in Philadelphia. In my own mind, I said, we're not going to be a very good football team. It's going to take a while. And if we have a few positive things that people get excited with and identify with, that would be good. They used to cheer him when he came on the field once he made the team, And the story is true. The facts in the movie were not. A lot of things were not true. And I'll tell you, they gave me the script or manuscript to read. I read it. I called up the director, Disney Productions, and I said, there's a lot of things in this manuscript that are not true. And he said, well, Coach, listen to me. He says, we're not doing a documentary. We're telling the story. I said, well, the story's true. The story is true. And he's done a good job. They're making the movie right now, The Underdog, with Kurt Warner. They're making awesome. The Lionsgate movie. They called me about 2 weeks ago about it. They're starting the production of that movie.
Excellent.
But anyway, I see Vince all the time. I see Vince. In fact, Vince is a member of my wine club, Vermeil Wines. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Coach.